What phrase would you use to describe the San Jose Sharks' 29 seasons in the NHL? One that comes to mind: perennial disappointments. 21 playoff appearances, and for the most part, a legitimate contender. Plenty of first and second round losses. 4 conference finals defeats, and 1 singular Stanley Cup Finals matchup. But we all know how that one ended up.
The 2016 Stanley Cup.
San Jose has never been able to reach their full potential. And now in the year 2021, they are this close to falling off the rails. Jumbo Joe and Pavelski are long gone. Burns and Carlson aren't the defensemen they used to be. Marleau is still kicking, but the prospect pool is dry. The window is closing faster than expected. GM thumbs must step in and turn San Jose into what they should have been all along: Californian dynasty. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my brand new NHL 21 franchise mode here in San Jose, California. I am so damn excited to be back on the West Coast here in California with the San Jose Sharks. San Jose desperately needs a new direction. Doug Wilson, get out of office. GM Thumbs is here to build a dynasty. I have done it with Columbus. I have done it with Minnesota. Calgary, yeah, I did it, I think. I did it with, who was my last team? New Jersey. I've done it with all of them. And I plan to do it with San Jose. And today we are just going to be talking about the roster, so there is no simulating. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff, but there will be no simulating until next episode. I want to hear your thoughts at the end of this episode and see what kind of direction you want me to take this San Jose roster. So let's talk about San Jose. I'm excited. San Jose, I think I spoiled it at a bunch of times in a bunch of past live streams that I wanted to do the San Jose Sharks. You know, it was either them, Nashville, a couple other teams. San Jose is that perennial disappointment. And that's kind of funny. That's a callback to my first ever video on this channel. I had a vote of teams and I called it perennial disappointment. It's funny because 2 of the teams in that video have already won their first ever Stanley Cups. I find that really, really funny. San Jose is a weird team. I can't recall their record here in 2021, but in this universe, COVID hasn't happened. You know, it's a full 82 game season. Each division is the same. Is this team going to make the playoffs? I'm not too sure. I downgraded Carlson. You can debate 88, maybe lower, maybe a bit higher. His offensive stats are great. He's still a great offensive defenseman. Defensive side, he's getting worse. Obviously, his physical side, his durability, it's trash. Brett Burns. I will talk about contracts here very soon. We will go into the contract screen, but this team needs some work. Goaltending, don't even get me started on goaltending. This team might need a quick 1, 2, or 3 year rebuild. I'm not sure what the plan is. I've looked this team over and I'm like, okay, our prospect pool, which is my most important thing to start every franchise mode. First couple of years in any franchise mode, I want to build up that prospect pool. Even if we only have 1 or 2 guys that are going to make the NHL, I want a plethora of value down there to make trades quickly. Maybe we move a contractor to going into free agency. But here's one thing, or one idea that I want to play around with. Let's talk about defense first. Defense is the strong point of the San Jose Sharks. I'm not even sure. I'm not a huge watcher of the Sharks, but I know Carlson and Burns and Vlasic are the big 3 on the D core. Simic's not too bad. They got a few young guys. Ferraro's not too shabby. PS4, don't break on me. I still need to get the PS5 if I wasn't broke. Second round pick in 2017, Mario Ferraro. Not a bad little guy. Will he grow? I guess we'll find out. Milosh, I remember when he was drafted in NHL 14 or something. NHL 14 or was it NHL 15? Something like that. His potential, he was like an elite player, didn't turn out to be. And this guy right here, don't even make me pronounce that because I won't. Let's talk about the big three. $11.5 million deal for Erik Karlsson. His ankles are made of metal. He hasn't been the same player for a very long time. But if you look at the last couple of seasons, he's putting up great offensive numbers. Plus minus wise, don't look at that. When I have Karlsson on my team, I won't care about his defensive style of play. If he puts up almost a point per game every year, we will survive with him. $11.5 million, though. That's the thing. Brent Burns making 8. See, it's all the way up until 2025, all the way around there. Karlsson's for the next 7 years and 37 years of age. That is just garbage. Vlasic, his contract's so damn long. I mean, here's the thing I was toying with. I feel like it would be cheating to trade all three of them. Or if you... There's a bunch of bad contracts on the San Jose Sharks. There are some good ones. But I feel like it would be cheating just to trade them all away right now, and you'd get great value. How many teams are going to want to take on a Brent Burns or Vlasic? I know a few teams might want a Karlsson, but at $11.5 million, you're going to have to retain. Here's my idea that I want to play around with. I feel like I've said that a couple of times. I want the ability to just trade away one. Out of these three defensemen, I wish I could trade them all. I would trade them all, but realistically, no team is going to want to bail out the San Jose Sharks like that. Now, realistically, who's the guy to go? I want to hear that from you. You guys are my assistant general managers. I am as much in the dark as you guys right now, so I'm going to need your advice going forward. Here's the deal. I can only trade one of these three defensemen away, one of these big three contracts. Who would it be? Would it be a Brent Burns? Would I get Karlsson's $11.5 million away? Retain half or something like that? I can only trade one. Because I believe all three of them are on no trade or no movement clauses or whatever. In the game, it doesn't really affect anything, but I kind of want to make it more of a challenge because I could trade them away for first-round picks after first-round picks, and you could get a lot for Vlasic. Realistically, you're not going to get a lot, right? So, defensive core, it could use some work, but money-wise, San Jose right now is basically at the cap ceiling. They have $3-ish million, maybe go out into free agency, pick up one or two depth players, but nothing special. In the system, you got one or two legitimate prospects here. You have Ryan Merkley now. EA gave him the medium elite value. I don't necessarily see him as a for sure NHL player. Wasn't great in the AHL last year. This year, I'm not too sure. But he was good in I believe he played. What league did he play in? The OHL? I want to say he's 20. It's 69 overall. Nice. He can still grow into a nice offensive defenseman, but that's still a damn good prospect. That's probably top 3 prospect in our entire system. And when I said in the intro, the prospect pool is dry. This team reminds me of the Detroit Red Wings when they made the playoffs like 20 plus years in a row without fault, and the prospect pool at the very tail end, it wasn't there. San Jose basically did the same thing. In 29 years of their franchise's history, they've made the playoffs 21 times. They've traded first-round picks. They've traded prospects. They've lost a lot to gain some success. They made the Stanley Cup Finals once with what to show for it, right? Prospect-wise, there's not a whole lot there. Year 1, 2, or 3, I'd like to add some elite talent to build the face of this franchise, because I don't think on this team right now, there is the face of the franchise going forward. You know, in Minnesota, you had your Kaprizov, and he was there basically the entire franchise mode. Columbus, you had a bunch of guys there who were there from year 1 or year 2. New Jersey, you had Jack Hughes and Cole Caulfield, right? But is there a face of this team? Currently, you could say there's 1 or 2 guys that are like, yeah, they might stick around for a while, but I want talent, and that's where I'm kind of leaning towards. Rebuild quickly, throw a lot away, get it done quickly. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Gain? God, I went basically 10 minutes without screwing up anything, but there we go. Another prospect here is Artemi Knazev. You tell me if I said that wrong. It's probably Nazev. The K is probably silent. 19 years of age, 61 overall. Not sure if he's going to be an NHL talent. Medium top 4 players usually tend to either be middle of the pack defensemen or they never really make it. It's a weird potential. Just like high top 6. Those potentials always bug out and never work out in the NHL. So you got a nice little talent there. Other than that, defensively, there's not a whole lot. You got Clayson, Middleton. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no depth. There's nothing to look forward to. Going to the forwards. No, actually, we'll go by right wingers first. Right wingers in the NHL, you got Timo Meier, one of my favorites on San Jose, actually on a really good contract for the next 3 years. If I can get him in these next 4 years of play, have a good couple of seasons, we can get him up to an 88, 89 overall, and he can be the face of this franchise, right? You got Kevin LeBlanc. He's been a weird player for San Jose. He signed that 1-year deal, turned around and was not great for them, but he's a solid player. No, 4 years at 4.7? Is that a guy I want to hold on to? I'm not too sure. You got Nosen here, Stefan Nosen, AHL first liner at highest in the. I see nothing there from him in the system. You got Bleichfield, 74 overall, 22 years of age, depth NHLer one day. You got Curtis Gabriel. I believe he's playing in the NHL right now. I might have to upgrade him a bit. You got a few guys here or there. You got, what's his name? Ozzy Wisblatt, who was just drafted by the San Jose Sharks in the first round. Not a crazy good talent, but potentially a 4th liner for us in the future. A bunch of medium top 9s. Nothing too crazy here. Nothing that I think will really make it. Then we are going to go to... I haven't done this kind of first episode in a while. Left wingers in the NHL. Evander Kane. Oh, Evander Kane bankrupt. Do we move on from him? Storyline purposes wise, why would San Jose want to hold on to a player like that doesn't really know how to manage his personal life? And I hate bringing that into it. I don't know his character. I'm not going to judge him on that. He can be a little bit of a douchebag, it seems, but I don't want to go out there and say that. But would San Jose want to move on from a guy like that? Maybe year 1 deadline, you could swing 2 first-round draft picks for him if you really felt like it. That's a player teams are gonna want to add. Then you have Patrick Marleau, and I believe at this point in the franchise mode, he is very, very close to breaking the all-time games played record. I believe he's number 2 all-time at this point, somewhere around there. We're going to he's going to retire here unless we're like losing 40 games in the season. I don't want to make him too mad. That's sad. He should probably retire into San Jose. Maybe if we're winning, I don't know. That's something to discuss later. You got Ryan Donato, solid depth piece, maybe growing to an 82, 83 at most. Matt Nieto, not a bad player right there, depth guy for us. And then you got Rudolph Balcers, 23 years of age, 77 overall. Not a bad little player there. In the system, Sorensen, he'll play in the NHL. How much do you want? Not a lot of money. We don't got a lot of extension money, too. We got to remember that. Few bottom players. You got, oh, God. San Jose just picks people with weird names. Okay, Jaden Howlenberg-Shawash. Somebody please tell me in the comments. Okay, nothing here. You got Vladislav Kotkov. 20 years of age. That's not a bad little player right there. Halmaluk. Okay, that's it for left wingers. Nothing crazy there. There's not like a medium. There's not like a top 6 talent there. Nothing crazy. I don't think any of those players right there are going to grow into NHL players for us because we get stacked very quickly. Then we're going to go to the NHL centers. Now, this is where probably the two best forwards on the team come from. Logan Couture, who I believe is the captain of the San Jose Sharks, 7 years at 8. Is that a contract I want to move on from? I feel forwards, we can totally move on from any of them. Defense, one of the big 3 I can trade. I feel like Logan Couture is a guy I would want to move on from basically right away. $8 million for 7 years. He will be 38, 39, 37, where around there. That's a contract that could hurt us very, very, very soon. He's going to drop next year. He'll be 85, or if he has a good season, might stay up at an 86, but he's going to drop in the next 2 calendar years. Then you got Tomas Hertl, Teenage Mutant Ninja Hertl. What a stud. 2 years left at 5.6. I'll lock him up long term. Absolute stud. Gotta love him. I very much like Tomas Hertl. Then you got Dylan Gambrell. Solid little third liner, fourth liner. See, the team is just not deep. Are we going to make the playoffs? We might. Simulation might be on in our favor. You got Noah Gregor. Not a bad prospect, but at 22 years of age, is he going to grow? Probably not too much. In the system, I believe 2 of our best prospects are here. Ivan Chekovich. That is our big prospect, probably our top prospect, drafted in the 7th round in 2017. He's having a great year in the AHL, I believe. He's our top center prospect. He'll be in the NHL next season. I like him. Sumela, nothing crazy. Letonov, 24, 76 overall. Don't see him growing too much. True, nothing crazy. Then you have Sasha Chmielewski, 21 years of age, 73 overall. That is the other center prospect that I was talking about. He doesn't have as much chance as Chekovich to get in the NHL because he has 1 or 2 years to really grow into that 80-plus overall player, or I'll probably move on from him for value's sake. I got to make big moves in the first couple of years. Gallant, solid top 9 prospect. They have nothing of substance here. Then you have Jonathan Deline that I thought was a valuable prospect. Then, you look at his stats. He isn't anything crazy anymore. Moved around a few times. Too bad. So sad he might. Low top 6. You rarely see any of those grow into NHL caliber players. I believe I got all of them. Yeah. So main roster. Actually, let me go to all expiring. See what's coming off the books next year. Patrick Marleau, if he doesn't retire, we'll bring him back, obviously. Donato, yeah, easy. We got money for all these guys. Nothing too crazy there. Unsigned players. You got Gushchin, and a few bottom players that will never play a game for the AHL system. And then we just have goalies to talk about. And goalies, San Jose. It's been a while since you've had a legitimately good goaltender. Devin Dubnyk is not a bad goalie. 83 overall. Basically, next year he'll drop and it's done. I doubt he'll be good for us, especially on this team right now. He might put up good stats, but if there's a contract to trade, it's probably Martin Jones. Such a bad goalie. Oh my Lord, San Jose. He had that. If you look at his regular season stats, 914, 911, 917. No, that was a good year. But other than that, I mean, he was good with LA, but he was never a starter there, right? So he's never been a rock solid goalie for more than a couple years. Playoff wise, he's had a few good runs, a few okay runs, but we gotta move on. Yeah. Goalie wise in the NHL, nothing crazy. They might win us a couple of games. I guess we'll see. EA goalies are voodoo. This guy, I won't even try to pronounce it. Okay, Josef Korinar. I tried. And then you have a created goalie who is an actual player for the San Jose Barracuda, Alexei Melnichuk. I caught an apple. Wow. 22 years of age, 72 overall. That's another player. See, seems like 90% of San Jose's prospects with a little bit of value are already at that age where 60 to 70-ish overall, they're not going to grow too much. I know how EA works. I've done a lot of simulating. I've played so much NHL 21 and NHL 20 over the last calendar 2 years. I know how this game works. Will Melnichuk grow? That's kind of the question. And then you got Edmund there. Right? San Jose, there is no substance. Even in the NHL roster, there's not a whole lot of substance. Who would we want to move on from? I think Evander Kane is a good player to have. He is going to put up goals for you. He might even score 40. Timo Meier, is there any untouchables on this roster? I would say the only untouchable right now is Timo Meier. He's 23 at 84 overall. He is guaranteed to grow without a good year, right? He's at that age where he will just grow from natural growth. He's on a really good contract. I like him. We can probably even get him at a better contract in the next couple of years because I'll work my magic. I don't think Logan Couture is untouchable. Evander Kane, I don't think he's untouchable. Patrick Marleau, that's a talk for another time. Tomas Hertl, I would like to keep on long term. Kevin LeBlanc at 4.7. That's a guy I'd probably want to move on from. We got to clear cap quickly. Bottom six, it'll be replaced in the next calendar year, right? Defensively, who is the untouchable there? I said I can only trade one of the big three defensemen away. Who should it be? Right? Goalie-wise, I would like to trade Martin Jones away as soon as possible. Scratch players, I don't care. We'll take a look at free agency, see what kind of options San Jose has. But there isn't really a whole lot of options. You have that Mateo Elias... what's his name? I want to get this right. Matthias Emilio Pettersson. He's qualified by Calgary. He's all good. There's a few depth players here or there. Michael Grabner, McGinn. He might have... Is he playing? I don't know. The free agency might not be perfect. Like, there might be players here or there playing for AHL teams. I really don't care. Because free agency... there's not a whole lot of effect. If it was like an 80-plus overall player, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure. But, I'm not too worried. There's a few depth players here or there that we might pick up on cheap contracts. You want to see UC Jokinen? For sure. Goalie-wise, I believe Jimmy Howard retired. I'm not even sure if that was official, if he retired. There's a few guys out here. Ramo, wow. Okay, so maybe first move we make as general manager is trading Martin Jones away for a 7th and retaining on that contract and bring one of these goalies over. I think that might be a smart decision. I guess we'll see, but it's really up to you. We have a couple directions we could go. And before we end off the first episode, yes, it is a short episode. I just want to kind of start things off, level the playing field, see what's up. The first-year draft is absolutely stacked for a couple of reasons. I made some prospects pretty damn good. Owen Power is officially rated as the first actual overall player who's an actual guy. Jeffrey Woodworth will be the first overall pick. That's what teams are vying for in year number 1. It's Jeffrey goddamn Woodworth. I wanted to see him in the franchise mode. Abso-frickin-lutely. You get a few custom guys here or there. Luke Hughes is real, but he's a creative guy. Brant Clark, Kent Johnson, Matthew Beniers, Blake Knight, who is a subscriber-created player. On that note, I created so many. I can't recall how many I created, but I spent a lot of damn time. If I couldn't get yours, I'm sorry. There was a cutoff in my mind, and I just had to create as many as I possibly could. But not everybody's made it. Igor Yanotov. So we will be referencing subscriber-created players all the time. We'll be able to just watch their careers go along. You got Jupiter Umnal, who is from the USA, but he's actually from Jupiter, if you didn't know. Brennan Othenman, Dimitris Salvador. There's a few guys down here. Real guys, Jesper Wallstedt, I will stay the hell away from you. Simone Edvinsson. There's a lot of really awesome prospects. Pai Lon from China, I believe. Yes, he's from China. 6'6", 250-pound defenseman from the Q machine. Midnight Joe. So if you see your guys here, not everybody is in year number 1. You did pick the years you wanted to be drafted. So there's guys in year 1, year 2, and year 3. So be sure to watch out, and that's why you got to watch to see if you guys get drafted and where you go to, right? Cole Sillinger. It is a stack draft, so we are guaranteed to get a really good prospect in year 1 anyways. I will say this right off the bat, that I will not be picking any subscriber-created players. I feel like it's unfair because I know their potentials, and I feel like it's a little messed up if I do that. Heppy Raulminen, I'm butchering them. Isaac Foashosho. I'm sorry. There's a lot of guys here in year 1 draft. Their top 60 picks are great. You're basically guaranteed to get a really good player either way. So that's good for all NHL teams, including us. We need to add a really good prospect. But that poses the question, right? Do we tank year 1? Is this the draft to tank, or do we try to win this year? Trade off a couple of assets at the draft and the trade deadline. Next year is kind of the draft where you want to be that 60-loss team with franchise potential players. And I believe next year is... Who is... Shane Wright and then Connor Bedard the next year? Are they in the same year? I can't recall. We got a lot of decisions to make. But San Jose is going to be a fun ride trying to get our first Stanley Cup in franchise history. It'll be a fun ride. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment. Be sure to check out the Twitter. Share this with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I will see you in the regular season. Ciao.